Good morning, guys. This is Clint from CT Mad Mods, and today we're going to put a mini spool from Fortune Off-Road in the rear of my Samurai, and we're going to upgrade to some chromoly axles. If you're not already following Kyle at Fortune Off-Road, you need to get over there and check him out. First thing we're going to do, drain that oil. While that's draining, I'm going to go ahead and take the wheels and tires off and jack this thing up. Now that I've got my wheels and tires off, I'm gonna go ahead and take that. Should be a lot easier to reach it like this, but take my drive shaft off. I didn't want my drive shaft to get in the way, so I just used a tie-down strap to hold it out of the way. Now I'm going to pull these bolts, pull my brake drum, and then pull that axle out. So I did the SJ410, SJ413 backing plate mod. And what that is you get this backing plate from Roadless Gears, where I got mine, but it reverses this backing plate to where you don't have to take this whole drum assembly off to get your axle out. You just undo the 4 bolts and then your axle comes off. This backing plate just slips out. You just have to modify it by cutting it, but it still holds that bearing in. This is going to make it way easier to change this. I don't have to remove my brakes and bleed my brakes and do all that stuff, and I can change my axle in the field if I ever need to. Just take these 4 nuts off, and then I'll get the slide hammer and we'll take this axle out. All right, I'll remove my brakes so you can see this a little better, but you pop this sucker off and then it just comes out with the axle. You can slip it on after the fact. I made this slide hammer out of a piece of pipe and just a 90-degree piece of metal, and it's got like this, you know, weighted deal on the end. It's made out of a 2-inch nipple from electrical, and I just built it. But anyways, it works the same. Just set it like that, and then pop her out. There's that modified backing plate. I just cut it so that axle, it'll slip over like that. Pretty easy. Now I won't even pretend to know how to tell chromoly from non-chromoly, but there isn't a whole lot of Samurai parts up in Alaska, and I just wanted to have replacement parts on hand in the event that I ever broke anything. So I ordered some chromoly rear axles from Low Range Off-Road, and Kyle from Fortune Off-Road reached out to me the other day and told me that he had this spool that he took out of a Samurai and asked if I wanted it. So I told him I would. I'm going to put that in the rear of my Samurai, and I'm going to take the Spartan out of my rear end and put it in the front end. So it'll be fully locked. And you can see how easy it was for me to change that rear axle with that backing plate mod. So if I ever break a axle in the field, I'll be able to pop out that backing plate and just pop my axle out without removing my brakes. You want to see something crazy? I was just measuring axles and just making sure everything was good to go. And while I was messing with the one that I just took off of my Samurai, I noticed that that was about to fall off. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order another set of bearings. And I bet you what I did was, I bet you I did not heat these up whenever I put them on the last time. And so I probably just pressed them on. I don't know, but I'm going to get a new set of bearings. That thing should not be coming off. And whoever had the Samurai before me, changed bearings before, they had cut into the axle. And this is primarily why I was like a little sketched out about running these, because when they chopped this off with a cutoff wheel, they got into the surface down here, and to me, that's no good. But these would be perfect for a set of backup axles if I was ever out in the middle of nowhere. But that ain't good. So you shouldn't be able to move that at all. I don't know what happened, but that probably would have posed a problem eventually. All right, I got that busted loose, so pull it out of here. As you can see, it's coming right along. I'm going to take that third member apart, and I'm going to put that mini spool in there and take that Spartan locker out because it's going to the front end. What you think of a spare? I ain't trying to compensate for nothing. Man, I've been pretty poor, but I ain't never been far away tire poor. I'm afraid one of y'all gonna call the cops when y'all find out that I ain't gonna torque none of these bolts. I'm just gonna put some red Loctite on them and give her 2 or 3 ugga-duggas with the old snap-on impact. Unless I got a little bit of moisture in this rear end. It looks like a little bit of rust. I don't know. It's I don't know, it's coming off, but kind of weird. It's only been in there a winter. While we have this Spartan out, well, I guess we can talk about it. What they do is they reuse your stock side gears, and it creates a locker because your side gears ratchet on that with these little springs. They're spring loaded, so they have constant force out. And so it gives you a little bit of give whenever you're turning. It'll allow this spider gear to ratchet a little bit. The spool, your full-time four-wheel drive in the rear, it's probably not the best thing for your axles and gears and all of the stuff, but you know what? I got this from Fortune Off-Road. Thanks, Kyle. The way a spool works is it goes into your rear diff housing, and it reutilizes these pins, and it totally locks up your rear end. Your axles spline into the spool, and it just stays locked up 100% of the time. So when you go around corners, it'll drag your outside tire and make, you know, the chirping noise or whatever. I've been running a spool in my tracker, and I don't really care. Some people, that might bother them. In some situations, it's not the best thing to have if you're climbing rocks and stuff, maybe. But the type of wheeling that I do, it's mostly mud. and just kind of poking around out in the back country, and I want her locked up. So that's what I got. I'm gonna put these small ones in first. And then the big one goes in like this. Slides all the way through. Now, when your ring gear's on, it'll keep them from popping out, but you can see how easy it is to pop those out. So with your ring gear on there, they're not coming off. Now, I just put like a little dot on there. That should go back together like that. Throw some Loctite on these and tighten them up. You should torque these to some sort of torque value. I don't know what that torque value is, but I'm just gonna do the right thing and give her the old Ugga-Duggas from the impact. As you can see, the ring gear keeps these pins from falling out. See? Torqued. So there's that mini spool inside there. And we're all torqued down to spec. I'm gonna put this sucker in a bag and we're gonna save that for the front end. Okay, I got both axles in and I'm about to put my drive shaft on. And everything's going together great. So just gotta button up my brakes, put the drums on, and put the tires on, put some oil in it. We done. All right, y'all, it's the next day. I got everything installed. Did a little test drive, ran out of time. My wife wanted to go yard selling, and so I went and hung out with her. So as you can imagine, the mini spool in the back of this thing, you know, doesn't have very good road manners, but we all knew that, right? I got a mini spool in my tracker, and it's only off-road. I don't take it on the road at all, but I can tell there's a spool in the back. It's kind of got, you know, that when you turn corners and stuff, it has that little chirp, if you will. Everything went together good. I'm probably going to be putting gears in this thing soon, and I just need to go get them from Kevin. I just haven't been over there yet, but the install went great. Initially, I noticed like a shutter or something like that. It was just in the brakes. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Like, share, subscribe, do all the stuff that y'all do. Almost up to 500 subscribers. That's pretty cool. If you enjoy what I'm doing, give it a like. And I'll keep the content coming. Hopefully we'll get a lot more off-road videos done this year. So, thanks for watching my videos, guys. This is a wrap. See you next week. Somebody wanted to go for a ride. Come on. My wife got a new car. It's about the same size as my Samurai.